Welcome to our media house, The African Perspective.
All right, welcome to yet another episode of The Global View, right here on The African Perspective. My name is Wandile Msomi. I'm still your host, and I know that we haven't spoken in a minute, and a lot has happened since the last time we spoke and this conversation today. And we're not going to look at everything that has happened since the last time we spoke, but I do want us to limit our discussion to what's going on in the DRC. We know that a very unfortunate, a very unfortunate event unfolded in the DRC, continues to unfold in actual fact, and I want us to look closely at that, and I want us to look at South Africa America relations. That's very important, and a lot has been unfolding on that front as well. To be honest, I did not think we would speak about SA America relations this soon into the Trump presidency. But of course, a lot has happened on that front, and it warrants us to have a discussion, to have a conversation about what's going on. So that's going to be our show today. And sit back, relax, and let's go. All right, so let us now look at the South Africa-US relations. Of course, many of you would have seen that President Trump not only posted about apparently very bad things happening in South Africa, and I assume he's talking about this lie that AfriForum has been, peddling around the world about farm murders and white people being slaughtered in the streets of South Africa, and there's a white genocide going on. So of course this is a lie. South Africans know it's a lie. Black, white South Africans, everybody knows that this is not true, and I suspect that the Americans themselves know that this is not true. It's ridiculous to suggest that white people are being slaughtered in South Africa and that there is a genocide. It's simply not true. But I mean, I don't have to convince you that it's not true. I think the Americans themselves know it's not true. But he posted about this, and did not just post about it, but also said something about it when he was interviewed, very briefly saying the very bad things happening in South Africa, and there are land seizures and so on, and people are having their lands confiscated and all of that, which we know is not true. Even the expropriation bill that was signed by the president is not a land grab act, right? It's not a confiscation of land, arbitrarily by the state. We know it's not true. But that's what President Trump has said. And, it would have just been another statement that he says, and maybe it dies down because it's not true. He did say there was going to be an investigation. So I wasn't too worried about it, because I said, well, if there's going to be an investigation, that's very good, because this would be a second investigation. We don't know what happened to the first investigation by Pompeo. But I said, you know what, if there's going to be an investigation, then it's going to reveal that this is not true. So if you know that your house is in order, why do you fear an investigation? So as that was going on, and I thought, okay, they're investigating, it's dying down and so on. Elon Musk, he kept peddling this on X, but okay, an investigation is going on. It's going to prove that this white genocide and ethnic cleansing and land grabs are simply not going on. Then Marco Rubio tweets and says he's not going to attend the G20. I think he's talking about the foreign ministers meeting here in South Africa. He's not going to attend it because very bad things are happening, likely talking about this expropriation bill, which essentially is the state is going to use that bill to expropriate largely abandoned buildings and unused land for public good, public interest, and so on. So that's what the bill is essentially going to be used for. No one's going to lose their homes. No one's going to have their car expropriated without compensation. It's just simply not true. So Marco then says, no, I'm not going to South Africa because of this bill. But he doesn't stop there. He says, well, essentially I don't like the topic. It's DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's anti-America. I have never heard, and I have dedicated my entire life to the study of geopolitics. I have never heard of a foreign minister saying they will not attend a summit as big as the G20 because they don't like the topic. Especially calling the topic that South Africa has come up with as anti-America. Anti-America. It's not true. It's not anti-America and it's not DI. But of course, I think Marco is trying very hard to, state a reason or a justification for not coming to South Africa for this summit, trying to double down on what Trump is saying. I don't think he quite understands what Trump is talking about. Because he himself doesn't know where this whole thing of land grabs and land being confiscated and all these land seizures and white genocide. I'm sure he also doesn't know where this is coming from. But you see, my boss said it, and I'm not gonna, Trump will fire you in an instant. The fact that you had just, confirmed a week ago or 3 days ago, whatever, doesn't mean you're gonna keep that job for the whole 4 years. Trump can fire you. So there's that understanding among those around President Trump, the cabinet ministers, or they call them secretaries, secretary of this, secretary of that, and so on. So with Marco Rubio's, obviously Marco Rubio being the Secretary of State. So there is this understanding among them that you cannot contradict the president. Otherwise, there will be hell to pay. You could lose your job and kiss your career goodbye if you dare contradict the President of the United States, especially on a global platform. America is not as vital to South Africa as it is now. It's important. Russia has been able to de-Americanize Russia and Moscow and all these wonderful places, St. Petersburg and all these other major cities. Where American companies left, Russian companies filled the vacuum. So now they're in a position where it really doesn't affect them as much when America turns their back on them. America left the vacuum. Russian companies and other countries and companies from other countries, China and so on, came and filled the vacuum, and they're moving. And we need to learn from that as well. So that's my comment. Of course, this is an ongoing thing, and we will provide full commentary once we know everything in terms of what's going on. Otherwise, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm happy we had this conversation, and I want to hear back from you. I can't wait for the feedback. I can't wait for the comments, and let's continue taking these conversations and discussions forward. Thank you. Aware.